Aaron.
I heard it.
Timekeeper Aaron. Are you ready, sir?
I am ready!
Okay.
Ready!
Now then, that when I ask you, that's exactly what you have to do. Understood?
Yes!
So, it's like if Tony the Tiger has just had a stroke. Okay? Right, club audience? Are you ready? Excellent. Okay. Alicia, in 3, 2, 1, begin.
Last year, researchers at the University of Toronto made a discovery suggesting that fire was used by the human species Homo erectus roughly 2 million years ago and 300,000 years earlier than the first identified use by Homo sapiens. Clearly, as the researchers noted, the control of fire would have been a major turning point in human evolution. It helped early humans stay warm, keep nighttime predators at bay, and enabled cooking, which would have made food more digestible. But more interesting to me, and what was also noted in the article, was that socializing around a campfire actually was an essential aspect of what makes us human. This statement excites me. Perhaps because I love to socialize, perhaps because I love campfires, perhaps because I was born in November on the 28th under the sign Sagittarius, a fire sign. Here's a short description for those of you unfamiliar with astrology. This element in the zodiac manifests itself in creative and unique ways, and those in its glow are wonderfully courageous and lively spirits. Those influenced by a fire sign are self-sufficient, spontaneous, and possess a tremendous zest for life. It's all true. Throughout my life, I've constantly been compared to the malleable yet fickle element, firecracker, fire starter, fiery, feisty. Don't get Alicia all fired up, I've heard one too many times, regarding my tendency to, you know, speak my mind. But there's a fire inside me that burns loud and strong, and so the idea of fire being essential to humanity somehow makes me also essential. Without fire, we would be extinct, or at the very least, alone in a dark cave, gnawing alone on raw meat. When fire became our ally, we became who we are. Even when fire turns against us, like it did on a Sunday in 1871, and burns for 3 days and 3.3 miles, leaving nothing but the ashes of a city and its remaining residents knee-deep in Lake Michigan, it leaves us with the drive to rebuild, the embers of its memory igniting a community with the promise that Chicago will rise again. And rise it did, to become one of the most populated and culturally rich cities in the nation. More than just an element we struggle to maintain for our own necessity, a natural disaster we live in fear of, fire is a site of identification for nearly every human experience. We have come to know it as synonymous with passion, inspiration, creativity, desire, and love. To be on fire is to be alive, and as a metaphor, it is indicative to our cultural understanding of emotion, and most notably love. Can we even imagine love without fire? I mean, just consider pop music for a moment. Where would we be if ice were to replace fire, even if only in some of our favorite songs? Without fire, Johnny Cash would have just been some lonely old guy ice fishing in a shack. Something like, love is an ice cold thing, and it makes a frozen ring. Bound by heart's desire, I fell into a winter's mire. And then there's one of my favorite love songs of all time by New Jersey legend Bruce Springsteen. Some of you may know him as the Boss. And it goes something like, hey little girl, is your daddy home? Did he go and leave you all alone? I got a bad desire. Oh, I'm frozen solid. And then, of course, there's one of the most influential artists of our time, Katy Perry. And she would not be nearly as recognized for her anthem of independence if the lyrics instead were, baby, you're an icicle, come and show 'em that you're cold, make 'em go, oh, 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 as you freeze them to death. Fire is the root of all feeling. It's the flickering in your stomach when you lock eyes with that cute guy behind the bar. And it's the flush in your cheeks when you ask for your number. And it's the warmth that spreads throughout your entire body when you first kiss. And it's the burning that exists every second you're not near each other. To be without fire is to be without feeling, to be numb, to be cold, to be ice. And everyone knows that ice is an asshole. When my brother was only 4 years old, he slipped on a patch of ice and broke his leg. That night, when he and my mom got home from the hospital, we laid side by side in front of the fireplace, a coal-burning stove that was the only heat for our small house. Fire is revolutionary. I mean, no one ever froze themselves solid to protest war or communist rule. I cannot recall a history of martyrs making ice sacrifices in the name of spiritual revolution. In Greek mythology, when Zeus wanted to punish the people, it was fire he withheld from them. Fire is everything. It's the heat that warms us. It's the passion that inspires us. It's the torch that rises and guides us. It's uncertain, untamable, and wild, like us. And when the fire in us goes out, as individuals or as a collective group, we are lost, we are hidden, and we are cold, like ice. And ice, well, ice is just mean water. Thank you very much.